Hi friends, it is I, your art teacher, Miss Claire. Today we're going to be making some rocket ships. Pretty cool. So our materials we're going to need a tube of some kind. So you could use a toilet paper tube. So once the toilet papers run out, you might use this tube, or a paper towel tube. I think we used some of these a little bit ago to make some, remember those percussion instruments where you could shake them? So we'll need one of these. I'm going to use a small one because I want a cute little tiny rocket ship. Now, if you don't have a tube of some kind, imagine taking a piece of paper and rolling it up. And that'll make you a pretty nice tube. And then I might tape or glue it here. So, to make a rocket ship, we need the top part that's kind of a pointy cone. So, this is the body of my spaceship, my rocket ship. To make the pointy cone, and I might need a little bit of help, or not, you might need a little bit of help from an adult in your household. I'm going to help myself. A circle to trace, because I want to cut out a circle. And so this is just the lid to a plastic container. Now, I'm sure you could find a circle somewhere in your home. Remember, circles are round. So I bet you have some circles all around, especially in my kitchen. I have so many round bowls I could use, or cups. So I'm going to trace this shape. Because we want to have a circle for our rocket ship. Okay, so I've just got this colored paper. I've got some other scraps. You can see these are really scraps. These are things I've used for other projects. So I'm going to decorate my spaceship with these. So the materials, a roll of some kind. I have a pair of scissors. If you have an adult that might need to help you cut out the circle, it's a little bit tricky. And then I have this lid to use as a template to trace. Now I also have some glue or tape. Now one or the other will do, something to attach things. And then I also have some markers just to decorate. Now the first step, like I said, is we are going to trace a circle. Now we're tracing the circle, mine's not perfect, to help us cut it out in the right shape. So I'm going to take these scissors. This might be a good place for someone in your household to help you. And actually, I'm going to show you again how I did that, because sometimes tracing stuff can be a little bit tricky. Now, I have a pen or a marker or a pencil, and then I have my circle. So a pen in my hand that I write with. I'm left-handed, so I have this in my hand. And then I use my other hand to hold the shape, so it doesn't move while I trace it. And then I want to keep holding it. And sometimes it's helpful to go slower to make sure that you do a good job. Pretty good looking circle. And you can use any colors that you want to decorate your rocket ship. You might think about choosing a theme for your rocket ship. So mine almost seems like a summertime ship, because the colors I've chosen, almost like tropical. I might make mine tropical rocket ship. I feel like these are all colors I might see on a pineapple. But you can have any sort of theme you want. Maybe you want your theme to be a winter ship, or maybe you want it to be themed like a plant or a person, or maybe you want it to be black and white, sort of like it's in an old movie. It's up to you what your theme is. All right, I have my circle. Now, how do I make that a pointy cone? That's a great question. So I am going to cut another line into my circle, but I'm only going to cut about halfway in. I'm going to make a line to show you how I'm going to cut. Okay. Do you see this line? I am just going to cut that line. So I'm not cutting all the way across the whole circle. All right, so now I have this Pac-Man creature with a mouth right here. So the way to get this to be a cone now is I kind of have to, see this split? We've almost got split like a pizza. I'm gonna cross these guys on top of each other. Look how cool that is. And I can cross them as far as they'll go to make the cone that I want. Now, I'm going to show you that again, because I know this is almost like a magic trick. Okay, we have our flat circle, And we have the cut that we made halfway through. Now I'm taking one side and I am putting it on, on top the other side. Do you see how it's crossing over? So the other one's underneath it. And as I cross over, it makes this cone shape. Isn't that neat? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little piece of tape to hold my rocket ship top together because it wants to come apart. And this might be where you might need a little bit of help just to hold it together and have someone and say, can you help me put a piece of tape on this? Because it's probably easy to lose, easy to let go of. And what happens if I let go of it before I tape it? It comes apart. So, and you know, it actually might be smart to have a piece of tape ready as you put it together. So let's see how tight I can make it, because the tighter you pull it on top of itself, the pointier the cone gets. Now the looser, the flatter it gets. That's kind of a cool trick, huh? You get to choose how pointy you want your cone. So I'm going to make my cone pretty pointy because I want it to be a really fast tropical rocket ship. All right. There's the top of my rocket ship. Look at that. So I'm going to attach it, but first I want to decorate my rocket. Now the reason I brought other paper is because I thought we could glue paper on and then color it. So I brought scraps because I like to hold on to this. It's actually quite a bit of paper. And I mean, you know, I don't want to waste it, so I hold on to it until I can use it for something different. So I think this is a great way to use these scraps of paper to make my rocket ship. And if you don't have colored paper at your house, I bet you have something else you could use. I wonder if you could use some newspaper, or if there is a magazine that your family doesn't need anymore, maybe you could use the magazine or catalog to cut up. All right, so now I bet you're wondering, how do I get that paper on the rocket? Well, I find the best way is to attach it with a piece of tape before we roll it on. I know this might be a little bit tricky. This is another one of those projects where we are going to be practicing some of these skills, like rolling and taping and kind of using our hands to manipulate and move paper. So that's just something that might be a little frustrating at first, but we're going to practice it together. All right, I have this. I am going to put a piece of tape to attach it here so it can't go anywhere. And then I'm just going to roll it. See how I'm rolling it? Now I was rolling it in the air, which is probably a little bit awkward, but if you're at home, it's attached, right? I've glued it or I've taped it. Now I'm going to take another piece of tape so I'm ready, because this is another situation where it might go boink and all fall off if I don't tape it right away. So I'm going to roll it. If you've ever made cookies, it's almost like rolling a rolling pin over dough. Rolling. Okay. Now, I am going to use tape to put this on. Do you see where it's meeting? I'm going to use tape. Okay. And I know you're thinking, Miss Blair, that has a big hole in it. That's okay. That's why I have this other yellow paper. I thought it would just be fun to see what happened to use scrap papers. And you know, it's kind of neat. I like this jagged edge I cut out of that before. That's kind of neat. Now I'm going to use glue to attach this, and I don't need very much glue. So I use a lot of times dots of glue like this. Look how much glue that is. It's not too much, because it's not how much glue we're using that makes things stronger. It's how well we sort of attach it. So I'm going to carefully press this on, kind of hold it for a second to make sure it really glues well. If you're ever thinking, my stuff is not sticking, and I know I've heard some of you say that, it might be because it just hasn't finished drying or we didn't push it hard enough. So I'm kind of holding it and I'm getting a little glue on my hands, which is sticky, but that's okay, it washes off. So it's probably not going to be totally stuck till it's dry, but that's okay. I'm going to leave it alone. I don't want to mess with it, because if I test to see if it's dry yet, I might mess it up and it might not stick at all. So I'm going to leave it alone. Now I'm going to roll this. And I'm actually going to cut it because it's a little bit long for my spaceship. And then I'm going to glue the other side. And I cut it at an angle. Look at that. Because I thought that might look neat. Now, I'm going to put a couple of dots of glue on here. Be careful not to mess with the part I just glued. Okay, here we go. And again, I'm going to hold this just, I don't know, let's count to 10. I'm going to hold, I'm kind of going to push on where I've glued this, and I am going to count to 10. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000. So now I feel like I've pushed that on there pretty good. It's not dry, but it should stay until it's dry. That might be a good rule of thumb. Every time you glue something, maybe see if you can count to 10 while you're holding it. Because what's not fun is when stuff comes unglued, especially when we've worked really hard on it. It's sort of frustrating to see that happen. So think about giving it a little bit of time, and remember, we want to push it together because we need to apply that pressure. Okay, I cut off my extra paper and now I have this pretty cool rocket ship body, yeah? Now, I think I mentioned that my rocket ship is going to be kind of tropical. So I think I'm going to draw some tropical stuff on mine. And when I think about tropical, I think about those big pink hibiscus flowers. So I'm going to draw some of those. I might also draw a pineapple because it really reminds me of a pineapple. And since this is a tropical ship, that's okay. Maybe the window into the ship is going to be pineapple shaped. Now, I want you to think about what yours is. Yours does not have to be like mine. Yours can be any theme that you want it to be. Whatever you want your spaceship to be themed like. Maybe it's cat themed, or maybe it is robot themed, or it's themed like a place. Whatever it is totally fine. This is your rocket ship. You get to choose the theme. So I am making a pineapple window, okay? All right, here's my pineapple window. So the center part is darker because it's a window. And I'm also going to draw a hibiscus flower. Because remember, I'm thinking about my theme the whole time. Oh, hibiscuses are maybe a little tough to draw, but I know they have these long parts right in the center and another pretty big. Okay. It is not a perfect flower, but that's okay. I'm just decorating my rocket ship. There's my hibiscus. So you might notice I've decorated it as much as I want before putting the top on. That's probably a pretty good idea. So we want to decorate this first before adding this, because if we add this, it might be kind of awkward to lay down and draw on it because this sticks up, right? So we want to finish this and then put them together. So I'm pretty done drawing on mine. I think that I like the decorations because I used paper too. Well, you know, I should probably put a door so that people can get in and out of my spaceship. Maybe your spaceship doesn't have people in it. Maybe it's only for squirrels. Maybe you just have a squirrel spaceship. Maybe it's only for insects flying to space. Maybe you have a bumblebee themed spaceship. That would be pretty neat. But all of the choices that you make should be involving your theme. We've talked about what theme is before, and I think that sometimes we give the example of like a birthday party. A lot of times a birthday party has a theme and everything is connected to that. So that's similar to what we're doing here. We're choosing a theme that everything can go towards, connected to. All right, I got a little door for my spaceship. Now, how do we attach our rocket ship top, our little hat? So we can use white glue, but we're going to have to let it sit. Remember this. So the way that I'm going to do it is I am going to put a line of white glue all along the top, and then I'm going to set it down. I'm going to put this on. I might hold it. We're going to do the 10. We're going to count to 10 together, and then I'm going to leave it. Well, after I put the glue on. And it will sit and it will glue. So I'm going to kind of clean up my workspace. sometimes I find it's helpful to clean up as I go so that I'm not, at the end, I don't have just a big mess. So I've kind of cleaned up my space because I'm going to let this sit and I'm going to go do something else after I glue it. Okay, so my workspace is pretty clean. Now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to draw a line. Now, if you have tape instead, you could put a little bit of tape in here and against this, because that's okay if you have tape instead of glue. We're using what we have at home. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue. I'm going to do a whole circle here. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, got a whole circle there. Now, and some of it might run in the inside, that's okay. All right, I am going to put this on and we're going to count to 10 again. I'm going to push gently. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000. All right, I'm going to let it sit on its own and it is going to finish gluing. So that is how we make pretty cool themed rocket ships. I hope you've had a good time making a rocket ship with me today. I hope that you have some really cool themes. I know that you do. I cannot wait to see what yours look like. Thank you for making art with me, and until next time.